what's going on, and welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Ricky Unboxed here, and today we have the Z Fold 6, long awaited. We got it in the crafted black, and we're gonna dive right into this one, guys. We have Galaxy Z Fold on the side, and we have some details about the device there on the bottom, crafted black, and then we have Samsung on the other side, nothing on the top. Sliding this box right open, we're gonna just slide those tabs off, and we're greeted with that beautiful crafted black. Now it kind of looks like it's more of a carbon fiber finish. I highly doubt that it actually is real carbon fiber, but we'll just go through and get into the contents in the back of the box. Here really quickly, we have our charging cables, we have our SIM card ejector tool, and then we also have inside the box our manual. Very standard packaging from Samsung. And then we're just gonna dive really quickly, look at the manual here. Nothing new, just some quick little details of what to do and not to do, how to preserve the device. And then we have our charging cables. Now this is a USB-C to USB-C, and in my opinion, I think the cable can be a little bit more of a premium style cable, but that is what we get inside the box. And then we also have our SIM card ejector tool. We'll be using that later just to get through the setup process, but we'll slide everything out of the way. And this is why we clicked on the video. We have the Z Fold 6. Now right off the hop, you're gonna realize that the device feels a lot lighter than last year's. This one's actually coming in at 239 grams compared to last year's model, which was 253. You also see that camera bump there. It is pretty prominent, so I would go ahead and throw a case on this. Definitely would throw a case on any of these smartphones nowadays. They're all plus $2,000, guys. But yeah, just go ahead looking at the screen. You can kind of see that crease when the screen is off, but once I get everything started up and everything, I'm sure we won't be able to see much of that crease. So we do have our speaker there at the bottom, and we have our volume rockers and the charging port, as well as another speaker there at the other end of the device. But yeah, guys, just really taking in that crease. I don't really think that you're gonna notice it that much. Now the other thing with this device is that we did get, Samsung is claiming a slightly bigger screen because it's a little bit more squared off. I'm going to do a little bit more of a comparison a little bit later in the video, so we're going to get to see that. But just starting up the device here for the first time, we have Samsung Galaxy on the main screen as well as on the secondary display. So that's kind of cool, kind of gives you a quick little preview of the two screens in action. But we're just going to go ahead and let this start up. And as soon as it turns on, you can realize right away that the crease in the middle of the screen is basically non-existent. You no longer can really recognize it. But to get through this setup process, we are going to have to install our SIM card. So this SIM card tray is pretty unique, as it does give you the capability to have the dual SIM card function, so you can separate maybe your professional life from your personal life, which is always really cool. And just keep in mind that when you are inserting the SIM card back into the phone, you just want to make sure that the cameras is in the upward position, and then you can slide in the SIM card back into the phone. After that, it simply just prompts you to restart the phone, and you can continue with the setup process. But I'm just going to go ahead and skip through all that so we can dive right into this smartphone, guys. You're all finished up, and there it is, Samsung Z Fold 6 for the first time, guys. And honestly, Samsung does a really good job at hiding this crease in the screen. Multiple apps together, that's just for you to be able to run two apps at the same time. Now the Samsung Galaxy Watch Ultra, we are going to be doing a video on that, so get subscribed so you don't miss out. But just going around and feeling out the display, you can definitely see that 120 Hertz refresh at work. A main difference between this year and last year's model is going to be that display. It's a little bit more squared off than last year's model, as well as when you're using that secondary display, you can see on the edges that this one is a lot more squared off versus the last year's model. Now Samsung is claiming that since they have squared off the edge, that secondary display is getting a 0.1 of an inch slightly bigger display. I don't know how big of a difference you're really going to notice, but a huge difference that you might notice is that crease in the middle. They've made it a little bit more symmetric. I really like that. Last year's model was a little bit more of a pet peeve. It kind of concaved in. Didn't really like that too much, so I am satisfied. I am happy to see that they've squared it off just a little bit more. And again, for the weight, Samsung did manage to shave off 14 grams. Very noticeable. It feels really nice just going around and really just taking in the actual make of the phone. Now we have a enhanced armor aluminum frame. At least Samsung is claiming this is supposed to be different than last year. They just added the name enhanced, but I'm pretty sure it's the same durability. As for cameras, we have a 50 megapixel wide angle, we have a 10 megapixel telephoto, and a 12 megapixel ultra wide. The camera bump is pretty noticeable. We also get a fingerprint scanner within our power button, so that's really nice to see. We also have our volume rockers there. It's kind of nice to have all the buttons on one side. I really like that. I don't know if it's because I'm used to that on the iPhone, but I do really like to have all those buttons very easily accessible. Now, quickly before we run into the camera test, I just want to show you guys some of the settings in the display. First off being our motion smoothness. Now adaptive, it is set to 120 hertz refresh, which you're definitely going to notice it's very smooth when you're just, you know, doing typical browsing or swiping on the phone. Everything is really smooth. You also have full screen apps. Now I don't know why you'd really want to change this unless you maybe want to have the app show slightly smaller, but I'd leave those as full screen. You also have the capability in continued apps on cover screen to basically have the apps continue on the color screen. I can show, so we can use maybe calendar, and then I can kind of demonstrate here. So if you're in the calendar application, where's our calendar? So here, hit the calendar application, and if I close the phone, the screen will continue on the secondary display, which is really cool. Now most applications, well, not most, but all applications, once you close the screen, it'll automatically turn it off. Now brightness, I apologize for the lines in the screen, but it does go to 2600 nits of brightness on both the main display and the secondary display. You have no issues viewing the display in the sun. You also can, you know, customize in the advanced settings your RGB color grading, so you can really get into the nitty-gritty and customize it down to your personal preferences, guys. Very, very nice. As well as navigation bar, one of my main things here. So circle to search, as well as assistant app, and to use that you just have to swipe inwards from the corners of the screen and it will automatically launch your Galaxy Assistant. And it doesn't work for the upper corners, just the lower corners of the phone, so that's really cool. Another thing that I also really like is swipe gestures. I prefer that over the button layout. I always like swipe gestures, so you can easily just navigate through different applications. Just quickly demonstrating that circle to search feature. That's one of Galaxy AI's new features, and you can simply circle anything that you want to search up and it will quickly just launch a browser of some sort, and you can see whatever you want to search up, and you can literally do this with absolutely anything on the smartphone. Moving on to our cameras, I'm gonna let you guys go ahead and watch some footage between two different cameras. Go ahead and spam down in the comments what smartphone you think is on the left versus which one is on the right, and I'll catch you guys in a second. Now guys, I know how hard that must have been, but if you got it right, go ahead and spam a camera emoji down in the comments below. But before you go, I want to show you one last thing, guys, and that's gotta be the pixels that are placed in front of the front facing camera. I always think this is one of the coolest things on the Samsung Fold lineups, the way that those little pixels kind of camouflage that camera so you don't even notice that it's there whenever you're watching or browsing the web, anything that you're doing. It's really cool to me, guys, as well as just having the capability to split the screen like this and having those video controls. But just keep in mind that if you do use it on the camera side, the cameras are a little bit more exposed and exposed to damage, so don't use it on that side unless you have a case, guys. Now that's everything I have on the Z Fold 6, guys. This is definitely one of the leading competitors in foldable smartphones in this space. Let me know down in the comments if you guys are gonna pick this up or you're thinking about picking this up, and what colorways stands out most to you guys. That's been it though, guys. It's been fun, but get subscribed up for more content like this. Peace out, take care, and as always, love you guys. Catch you on the next one.